In matters of truth and justice, there is no difference between large and small problems, for issues concerning the treatment of people are all the same. Oftentimes, society places labels on things that become permanent. These permanent labels become all people know it by. I was asked, think of the worst thing you've ever done. Imagine being known for that your whole entire life. I am Jasmine Lovelace. My service learning project at IREF, the Indianapolis Reentry Educational Facility, has allowed me to work and fellowship alongside convicts who have more than likely been labeled by society as less than human. I have participated in a service learning project inside of a prison, coupled with a public speaking group inside of that prison by the name of Toastmasters. Each week, speeches were given by both residents and students. In this, barriers, walls, and even labels were broken and put to the side. Personally, before IREF, I never thought too much about the prison system, just that I wanted to keep innocent people from going there. I know people who are convicts. My father has been in jail. I have always believed that every action has a reaction, and people should be held responsible for their crimes, but never that they were throwaways. It makes zero sense to me to have people locked up for decades, throw them to the wolves when they get out, then solely blame them for reoffending. The concept and need for reentry programs is absolutely necessary to improve the criminal justice system. Though, if people don't know there's a need or market for something, they won't look for a solution. I want to tell people about IREF and the need we have for reentry programs. What does it matter if we just go and tell no one about it? When it comes to V100, I learned some useful things about careers. I intend to be a criminal defense attorney. At IREF, I was able to observe the job of custody officers. As an attorney, I may have to work closely with them. I also now know that a custody officer is not a job to consider for myself. It appears they have to be reserved and standoffish. That is not my personality. However, it is nice to know about the nature of other careers. I would rather know a little about many things, like careers, than a lot about only a few things. I will mostly be dealing with defendants on a daily basis as a lawyer. I need to be able to relate and be comfortable with them, and IREF has begun that. In criminal justice class, we talk about cops, courts, and corrections. At IREF, when residents spoke, I was able to hear words I was familiar with. It was nice to know what they were actually talking about. The residents at IREF can participate in programs and get time off of their sentence. I learned that is an early release mechanism. Also, Derek gave a speech about how he ended up in the system. He was 14 at the time, but ended up getting waived into the adult system. I learned a lot about waivers. Prison is often portrayed very negatively in media and on television. The show Lock Up is how many people know prisons. Some prisons are that way. IREF is very different. I wish that everyone studying the criminal justice system also included heavily studying reentry. Imagine if there was a show that positively portrayed reentry programs. The view of the prison system could change for the better. One night, I decided to sit with Mrs. Garcia at IREF. I always noticed how enjoyable IREF is for her, and I wanted that joy. It absolutely lightened my mood, and it allowed me to see the positive that comes from these programs. As far as speech class, I think it is obvious that Toastmasters, being a public speaking group, helped me with my speaking skills. I learned practice helps so much. When I gave my speech the second time at IREF, it was better all around. I was more comfortable. I was nervous to speak at IREF, but the residents were super supportive and they made my ideas seem valuable. That night, after being evaluated, I learned that I have crutch words of and so. In my first speech, I had 17 ums. In my second speech, I only used 3. The best lawyers are amazing public speakers. Speaking at IREF assisted me with not being offensive in my speech. Sometimes we had to cut things out of our speeches so we didn't make it awkward or offend the residents. That is a good skill to have because you never know who's listening. I never want to offend anyone. I learned from the residents that you should make your gestures purposeful when speaking. I took that advice from my persuasive speech, and Mrs. T said it was my best speech yet, and I received an A. Frank was looking for Toastmasters meetings near his home when he was leaving. That showed me he did not plan to come back, and that he wants to continue his public speaking journey. That will always stand out to me. IREF has been an experience for the books. I just hope that the residents have gotten even half of the things I've gotten out of this experience. I will tell people about IREF. I will be a better lawyer, a better speaker, and a better person because of it. I like to think I have a flickering flame of passion for criminal justice that will eventually be completely ablaze.